Supreme Court today, challenging the victory of President Tinubu at the elections, the February 25 presidential elections. And then we also talking about the National Assembly senators, particularly arising from their, meeting in Calabar to say, look, rather in Akwa Ibom, to say that they want to make transmission of results, electronic transmission of results, mandatory for the next general elections in 2027. And the question I asked earlier is, it's one thing for the National Assembly to make laws, it's another thing for the president to assent to the bills passed by the National Assembly. We saw the back and forth with the Electoral Act in 2019. Went to the president several times, turned down assent, and the 2010 Electoral Act had to be used at the 2019 elections. Again in 2022, we saw the back and forth with the signing of the bill until finally, all of the pressure mounted on the president, made him sign the bill. Would we have a similar situation where all of this is put on hold again until 2031 or so? Or would the president just go ahead and sign this? But then, what are the other things you think that the Electoral Act amendments should consider or contain? Because it's not enough to say electronic results will be transmitted electronically, mandatorily, and that diaspora voting will be allowed and all of that. We've seen that even the INEC on its own had assured Nigerians that elections will be sent, results will be sent to the IREV in real time. But when it didn't happen, they came out to say, oh, it wasn't mandatory. INEC could choose whatever means it wants to, as collation means. And that conflict is what, some of the challengers of President Tinubu's victory are taken to court, and somehow even the courts do not find merit in them. So, what do you think? What do you make? I've spoken about, ensuring that, also electronic voting is considered. I've spoken about, making sure that INEC does not, no one is sworn in before. Maybe we need to amend our constitution as well. So it is your responsibility as well to come to your representatives, your legislators, come to them with these demands and say, this is what we want. CSOs, it is not until a draft of the bill is done and then you don't see certain things that you begin to campaign or advocate. The advocacy should start now. It is not in 2026 or 2027 that we'll start an advocacy. Why don't you start now and ensure that whatever demands that you want or whatever clauses you want in the Electoral Act 2027 or 2026 or whatever year it is it's going to be passed would contain. Begin now. Begin to mobilize Nigerians and other pressure groups to see that these clauses are inserted in the Electoral Act. Be a part of drafting the Electoral Act or the bill as it is, so that you're able to know that this is actually what we want, and also scrutinize those bills and ensure that they do not have lacunas that politicians can exploit to get away with, ill behaviors. It's now. The time is now. It's not tomorrow. It's not the day after. It is now. When a person is sworn in and they have all of the powers and resources, state resources, at their control, for them, and we have a situation where it seems like the judiciary is subservient to them because they have everything. In local parlance, we say they have the yam and they have the knife. So why don't we, as a people, begin now? It's against all of the other noise. Begin now to pay attention to the things that really matter. If we made a mistake in 2023, how do we fix that mistake going forward? And I hope that someone is listening and is going to begin to act now. you have a responsibility to hold your representatives to account. You have the right to make certain demands of them. They speak for you. They are your representatives. I don't know if maybe some of us do not understand what it means to be a representative. It means that you're there not for yourself. You are there for me. You're standing there or sitting there on my behalf. You're sitting there on my behalf means that you say what I want you to say. You do what I want you to do. So, the greatest threat to a politician is unorganized people. If you can begin to organize yourselves as a people, put away all of these sentiments of tribe, ethnicity, and all of those things, and religion, or whatever it is that they've thrown at us to divide us, put those things away. Organize yourselves as a constituency, as a senatorial district, or whatever it is. Put yourselves together, or gather yourselves together, and form a charter of the demands. Place these demands before your representatives, and also negotiate with them and say, look, if we're unable to achieve this and this and this between this time and before the next election, we may be forced to choose somebody else who's going to do what we want. And do not allow that, because definitely when you begin to put yourselves together, I mean, even in the workplace, organizations do not like when the people are organized. It's called an organization, but then when the people are organized against the leadership, there's always a problem. So they always find a way to, throw in one or two fifth columnists and those who would somewhat betray them. So when they throw these people up, those people who will spark up these sentiments of, oh, it's because he's not our brother, that's why you people are saying this, because he's not your brother, find a way to move past that. Place your demands, make your demands, and get what it is that you want done. A word they say is enough for the wise. We cannot continue to remain docile as a people and blame everything on politicians. We love to blame a lot. You blame somebody who you haven't told what you want. The person doesn't even know what you want, but you blame them. You don't even know how to contact the person, but you blame them. I mentioned earlier that some people don't even know that they're constituency officers, and there should be constituency officers. There should be constituency meetings where you go and tell your representative what it is that you want. And until you begin to do that, things may just be the same. I'm going to have to leave the conversation now. Just seeing that our clock is in the ceiling. I can't take any more calls. I'm really sorry. But tomorrow we'll come back and, maybe enlighten ourselves some more, talk to ourselves and talk to Nigeria and speak to our leaders to get them to do what we want. This is a good place to leave it. Thank you for being a part of it. My name is Iheanacho Prince. Business News is up next. These days, 1 hour feels like 10 minutes. Right after Business News, Mata takes over proceedings on the Midday Extra show. Keep it with us on your radio experience. You can count on the good conversation lives here, and you can continue this conversation with Martha, by the way, and share your thoughts with us